Here's what's cooking on an all-new Sports Stove football show. College football has some top 25 matchups. We're going to pick them. We talk about Gundy getting fired. And in the NFL, 6 new games to pick, plus some news and a crazy stat that my dad is going to love. That's what's cooking on today's football show. Welcome in to an all-new edition of the Sports Stove Football Show, presented by Righteous Felon Jerky, and of course, always brought to you on the Belly Up Sports Network. Welcome into another exciting show, ready to talk about lots of football, including some kicking off in just a couple of hours, and plenty more this weekend. I'm Vince Stover, joined as I am every week by my dad, Dale Stover. Dad, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing fairly well now. It took a little recovery after Sunday and the Packers, but we're getting there and we're looking forward to Sunday night. So I think we're going to be okay.
We will survive, as the old song. We are presented today by Righteous Felon Jerky. Join the flavor revolution at righteousfelon.com. And if you use the promo code STOVE15 at checkout, you're going to get 15% off your purchase. That's right, 15% off your purchase, and it's already affordable. And the flavors are phenomenal. The texture is the best you've ever had. You need to check out Righteous Felon Jerky and use that code. That'll let them know that you heard about them right here on the Sports Stove Football Show. All right, Dad, let's get into college football. And, of course, I want to start with good old Mike Gundy down there in Stillwater, getting the boot after 20 years at Oklahoma State. There's been a lot of questions about, is Mike Gundy a legend? Did he deserve to get fired? Did he deserve to get to finish out the rest of the college football season? And that's kind of where I land is, yeah, let him finish the season. I mean, my goodness, how does it help you to fire him now? Let him finish the season and then let him go after that. Obviously, he is a great soundbite many times over. He's a very good football coach. He has had a lot of success at Oklahoma State. And, Dad, I kind of view Oklahoma State as the Steelers of college football because the Steelers don't change coaches very often. They don't win a lot of trophies, but they're always fine. You know, they're not horrible, whatever. Now, a couple bad seasons for Gundy. I think it's time for a change of pace over there as well. I'm just surprised they didn't let him finish out the year. Dad, your thoughts on Mike Gundy and his tenure ending in Stillwater?
Yeah, I would agree. It would have made sense to let him finish out the year. Again, he's been there so long. I didn't know, if they would ever, get rid of him or not. I think when you look at coaches, though, that are that tenure that long, that are not massively successful in the national hunt, the way college sports has changed, sure, it'd be hard for a coach like that to adjust, I think, and be successful at this point in time. My thought when I heard it was, will he rebound right away? Will somebody hire him next year? Like you said, he's a good coach. He's been there a long time. And, like he said, very great personality, very flamboyant, everything there. Of course, we've got friends that live in Stillwater and are Oklahoma State fans. We have friends that are OU fans that don't care what happens in Stillwater. So anyhow, we will see about that. But, yeah, I was surprised they fired him when they did. Yeah. And I think it'll be real interesting to see, just because some of these guys that have, gone away since things have changed in college football haven't really wanted to jump back into it because it's not what they're used to. I would assume he'd be a great guy for TV. So we will see.
Yeah, he'll get offered some money, I'm sure. We'll probably see him very soon, I would guess, on TV now that he's free and available. Yeah, you're right. I'm curious to see, would he be willing to go jump onto a staff somewhere, be consultant or something like that. I actually thought about it before the year, did not bring it up though, so take it or leave it, I guess. But maybe he finished out the year and moved him to a consulting role at OSU, at Oklahoma State, and bring in another coach behind him, kind of a thing. He just seems like he's so connected there at Oklahoma State too, and for him to be there for 2 decades is quite the storyline as well. But we'll miss his rants, and obviously one epic rant. But I think we'll see him on TV very, very soon, probably for the rest of this college football season. All right, let's get into some picks this week, and then we can talk about some other college football games as well. So far, Dad and I are even 500 on our picks so far this year, 10-10, both of us. And so there you go. So you can expect that half of these picks will be correct this week again. We're going to start off LSU at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 2.5-point favorite at home in this game, a battle of 2 top teams in college football this season. LSU, they've been they're obviously a very good team, but there's been some not as much success as maybe we anticipated with them and Nussmeier and things like that too. Ole Miss is always intriguing with Lane Kiffin. So, Dad, we'll start off with you on this one. Who do you pick, Ole Miss at home or LSU, the slight underdogs on the road?
Well, I think you have to look at it a little bit since Ole Miss is at home, but I'm going to pick LSU. I think they're just a very, very good team. Ole Miss is also, this would be a big game for them. If they win this one, then it really puts them in a little different light in the SEC, especially with some questions about Alabama and other teams like that. But I think LSU is really good. I've been very intrigued to see how the coach is going to fit into the SEC, but it looks like that's gone real well, at least at this point. So I will pick LSU.
Yeah, I'm with you. At the beginning of the week, it was 2.5 for Ole Miss. Now it's down to 1.5. I just think Ole Miss is the better program at this point. Still, LSU is. Ole Miss has some issues when it comes to consistency, especially at the quarterback position. I feel more comfortable with LSU in this one, so I'm going to go LSU also, Dad, in this one. All right, let's go now to the Big Ten and Oregon at Penn State. This is going to be quite the game. Penn State has scheduled for their whiteout, so it's always an exciting time as well. Penn State is a 3.5-point favorite at home in this game. Oregon at number 6, Penn State at number 3. Penn State has yet to play anybody worth note, at least to this point on the year as well. So, Dad, your pick here, Oregon at 4-0 or Penn State at home with their first real opponent?
Well, I'm going to pick Oregon in this one. I thought about it. Oregon doesn't seem to have problems going on the road, in the Big Ten from there. Penn State, they've had a good team every year, but they have trouble, being able to win the Big Ten and get there. I think both these teams could easily end up in the playoff. I don't think that would be a problem, but I don't know. This will be a fun game to pay attention to, but I just felt like I'll go with the Ducks on this one.
I think it's probably lined up to be our best game of the weekend, quite honestly. I think Oregon is the slightly better team. I should say it this way. I think they're the more explosive team, but Penn State at home in this environment. And I was so wrong on Clemson. Penn State is another team that I said going into the year, hey, we got to watch out for them. There's so much experience on this team. And ultimately, Dad, I'm going with Penn State at home in this one. 2 dynamic running backs, a very experienced quarterback. Defense is good. Again, Oregon has a little bit of the advantage just because they're coming into this game. I think having played slightly better talent than what Penn State has played so far, but at home, it's going to be a crazy environment. I'm going to go Penn State in this one. So we'll go opposite on that one. All right, now to the Big 12. We've got a fun one in the Big 12 as well, and that is going to be Arizona at Iowa State. Both teams undefeated. Iowa State opened the week at 6.5-point favorites. They're now down to 5.5-point favorites. Arizona has been one of those teams that not a whole lot of talk about coming into the year, but look really, really good here to start the season. So, Dad, I'm going to go Iowa State in this one at home, number 14. I think this is a potential upset alert with Arizona, but ultimately I'm going to stick with Iowa State on this one. You going to go Iowa State or the Road Dogs in Arizona?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on this one with Iowa State. We've seen them play a little bit this year. They seem to be really good. Arizona is one of those teams, though, like you said, that can always be a surprise. But again, I think Iowa State at home, if they're going to be the real deal here in the Big 12, then they'll need to win this one.
Yeah, I agreed. And again, I think if Arizona does win, now we're talking about them in a completely different light as well this season. All right, let's go back to the SEC for this one. Alabama at Georgia. Alabama's opening game of the year was so bad, but boy, have they looked good ever since then. Georgia 3-0, squeaking out that win over Tennessee last week in Tennessee. So now here we go. Georgia, or was that last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. Georgia 3-0. They are 3.5-point favorites. That has gone up a point since the beginning of the week. Dad, are you going to go Georgia at home or Alabama on the road?
I'm going to go with Georgia at home. Again, Alabama, they'll change their whole vernacular for this year if they can win this one to go down into Athens and win. But, of course, I watched the Tennessee game. Tennessee should have won that, but Georgia, I was impressed with some things about Georgia. I like their quarterback. And again, Kirby Smart's always good. Being at home, that's a tough place. So I'm gonna go with the Dogs.
Okay, I'm with you. Man, I think Alabama has looked so good as of late. But again, the talent that they're playing against hasn't been great in these wins as well. I would not put it past Alabama to get the win here, but ultimately I'm going to go with the higher ranked and home team in Georgia this week as well. All right, Dad, then to the ACC, our final pick for this week. We're going to go Louisville at Pitt. Louisville's undefeated at 3-0. They've even had been in the rankings. Pitt is 2-1 this year. Louisville is a 4.5-point favorite on the road. You got to go with road favorites in Louisville, or are you going to go with the home dogs in Pitt?
I'm going to go with Louisville on this one. I think they've got a chance. Looks like they've got a good team this year. Pitt, again, one of those teams that's always tough. But as I looked at the schedules and looked at everything, I'm going to go with the favorite on this one with Louisville.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one, too. I don't like to pick against home, especially home dogs in conference play, but I'm going to. I think Louisville's the better team this year as well. So we only disagree on one game this week, Dad. That's Oregon, Penn State, where I take Penn State at home. You take Oregon. We agree. LSU over Ole Miss, Iowa State over Arizona, Georgia over Alabama, and Louisville on the road over Pitt as well. Dad, are there any other games this week that really excite you? Is there anything that you've seen coming into the week that you go, boy, I'm really interested to see how that one turns out?
Well, this week, again, there'll be, a lot of good games. I'm anxious to see, in the future here, if Illinois can rebound. That was a really tough game with Indiana. I'm interested to see if Indiana's really that good. They were psyched up for Illinois. They had everything ready to go. And of course, that's a big rivalry between the two colleges, especially in basketball. But they were ready for this one. Again, we're getting into the spot now where people will start taking shape as far as the conferences are concerned, and then of course heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, and both of those teams, Illinois and Indiana, have got pretty tough opponents this week. Indiana's playing at Iowa, where they still should beat them, but it's going to be a tough game. Illinois gets to host USC this week. USC comes in as almost a touchdown favorite to Illinois. So Illinois has a lot to prove this week, and a win over USC would go a long way in proving who they are. A loss to USC, though, kind of we probably won't talk about Illinois anymore this year if that's the case there. And then in the ACC, Florida State travels to Virginia. And I almost put this game into our picks. I chose not to ultimately. But you bet this is a trap game for Florida State. On the road, Virginia's better than they have been. Florida State's a top 10 team now with expectation. It's a really dangerous week for Florida State. So, and again, Florida State could come out of it just convincing us even more that they are really that good. But I would not be surprised at all if Florida State barely wins this game or Virginia even gets the win at home this week, which, Dad, kind of brings me to this question of what team, in your opinion, or has your opinion changed on the most through our first 4 weeks of college football? Like, is it positive or negative? Doesn't matter. But is there a team that your opinion has been like, wow, they're way better than I thought they were, or boy, they're a lot worse than I thought they were going to be this season?
Well, the obvious one is Clemson,
yeah,
but we'll move on from that. I think two teams that are ranked high that I thought, might be good, but I wouldn't expect them to be that high now. One is Georgia Tech. I'm real intrigued by them. As they've played some good teams, and they looks like they've got things going there. And then you talked about Florida State, big game this week. I didn't expect Florida State to rebound as strong as quick. So those two have kind of, Georgia Tech, Florida State, have surprised me at this point about how good they appear to be.
Yeah, Clemson, like you said, Clemson's the obvious one. I picked Clemson to win the national championship. So obviously I was wrong and very surprised by it as well. Miami is a team that I've been really surprised by, Dad. Carson Beck did not look great in Georgia. And all of a sudden, he's done the part. He's done what he needs to do in Miami. I had them dropping down a little bit this year. So I was definitely my opinion has changed on how good Miami is this year. I'm still not completely sold on Florida State. So my opinion hasn't changed drastically there yet. Georgia Tech, I assumed they were going to be a top 20 team. I did not have them beating Clemson, of course, but so not super surprising. We do have a comment on Facebook from Coach McGuire saying Oklahoma, of course, Boomer Sooner. They looked really good so far this year, beating some good teams, especially in Auburn and Michigan. So far, their gauntlet of a schedule is about to begin, and we will see how that goes because they face the who's who of the SEC in the coming several weeks. So we will continue to watch them. They have been impressive so far this season, of course, as well. All right, Dad, anything else college football related you want to hit before we switch over to the NFL?
All right. Yep, we're ready to go to the NFL.
All right, let's start off. We'll start with our picks in the NFL this week, and we have 6 that we pick every week. We do the primetime games. This week we're doing the early morning Sunday game as well, and we always just fill it out with the 5th or 6th game, however many we need in the week. So let's start off with tonight's game, kicking off just about 2 hours from now. The Seattle Seahawks travel to Phoenix to the Arizona Cardinals. And, Dad, this one, the Cardinals are underdogs at home by 1.5. So are you going with Seahawks or are you going with the Cardinals this week?
Well, I'm going to go with the Seahawks. But, again, they need to be careful. They've really played well so far. I think they're the team that probably should win. But Arizona is just a matter of them getting everything together. They've got talent there. But I'm going to go with Seattle.
Yeah, I'm going Seattle too, and here's why. It's just because I have zero confidence in Arizona. They have the talent there. They should win. They're at home. Conference game, division game, super important game. The Cardinals should win this game. But the way that they've played, I just sit there and go, it just doesn't make any sense. Like 1 week they're going to be good, the next week they're going to be bad is what it feels like to me. And I just don't trust them on a Thursday night, short rest, all that good stuff. So I'm going to go Seattle this week as well, Dad. All right, Sunday night, we get the Packers at Dallas, the Micah Parsons homecoming. Green Bay is favorited by 6.5 points on the road. Again, I'm going the Packers, Dad. I know you are too, because you're not going to say anything nice about the Cowboys and you shouldn't this week either. So I'm not faulting you at that. But I know we're both going Packers this week.
Yeah, I'll pick the Packers. They need to rebound. Again, the defense has been the real thing. They've played well last week, even in the loss. The defense played well enough. So I think they'll be ready to go. The Micah Parsons thing will be very, very interesting to see what kind of game he has there and how the fans react to him. And again, the Packers need to get their offense turned around. They're not going to have all their offensive linemen yet like they need, but that's not an excuse. They need to have things ready to go, and we'll see. They should be able to right the ship. And they're going into the bye week, so it's important to win going into the bye.
Well, Dallas has one of the worst defenses in the league, so this is the week to get your offense right, needless to say. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, let's go to Dublin, Ireland next. Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. kickoff on the Eastern time zone, 8:30 kickoff here where I am. Minnesota and Pittsburgh, both 2-1 to start out the season this week. And, Dad, I know you have reasons to hate both, so I'm intrigued to see which direction you're going to go with the Vikings or the Steelers.
I had to look at this one long and hard. There's no doubt about it. But based on how the season's gone, I'm going to go with the Vikings because of the defense. I think the defense can play well enough. The Steelers' offense has not been stellar, even though Rodgers, has had some good games. It looked like the Vikings played well enough offensively last week. They'll have Carson Wentz, I guess, again. So that scares me quite a bit. But I'll pick the Vikings in this one.
Okay, I'm going to go Steelers. I'm going to go opposite of you on this one. Vikings are the favorite, by the way, 2.5-point favorites in Dublin. I like the Steelers just better. At the end of the day, I just don't believe in Minnesota at all. And I know that they've played decent and Wentz was fine and whatever. I like Jordan Mason at running back for Minnesota too. I just think Pittsburgh, the more Pittsburgh plays, the better they're going to get. And I don't know that Minnesota is that way, especially with Carson Wentz at quarterback. So I think every week we see progress in Pittsburgh. Is it going to be great? No. Is it going to be, Super Bowl? No. But it's going to get better, and I just think that this week is a week we see them progress a little bit. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this game. Before we move on, Dad, I have a crazy stat for you for Minnesota. All right.
All right.
The Minnesota Vikings are 15-3 when Kevin O'Connell has a redhead starting at quarterback. That's 83.33% win rate, the highest of any team ever starting a redheaded quarterback. And so Sam Darnold and Carson Wentz are those two that Kevin O'Connell has had. And, of course, he's got Carson Wentz this week too. So I'm going against science here when I'm picking Pittsburgh. And it makes sense. I'm glad that you picked Minnesota, being a natural redhead yourself. So I think that works out pretty nicely this week with that pick. All right. Let's stay close to home for you, or not super close, I guess. But Cincinnati is going to Denver this week. This is going to be played on a Monday night. So 2 Monday night games this week. Cincinnati is a 7.5-point underdog on the road to Denver. Dad, are you going with Jake Browning and the amazing Bengals, or Bo Nix and the Broncos?
Well, the Broncos make the most sense. They're at home. There's potential they're going to play better. Are the Bengals going to try to have some life somewhere down the line and keep things going? Because this is just going to get uglier and uglier. I don't know that the coach will survive the year from there. So I almost picked the Bengals just thinking, hey, they're going to rally and surprise here. But the Broncos, there's no reason the Broncos should not win this. But I don't think I have a lot of faith in them this year either at this point. So, but I will pick the Broncos.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going Broncos also. It'll be hard for me to pick the Bengals at any point this year. So I'll go Broncos also on that one. All right. The second Monday night game is the New York Football Jets, Jets, Jets. And they're traveling to Miami again to play the Dolphins, who are struggling as well. Both teams struggling. Neither one of them have won a game yet. So someone will get their first win this week, Dad. Will it be the Jets or will it be the Dolphins?
It'll be the Jets. I still feel like they can be a little more respectable this year. Miami, I don't see anything respectable yet, a whole lot down there. This would be a game for them to win if they're going to get a win. But I think the Jets are better, and so I will pick them.
All right, I'll go with the home favorites or 2.5-point favorites this week. I'll go with Miami this week. This is a hard one for me. This is probably the hardest one for me to pick, honestly. I'm so anti-Tua and so down on the Dolphins this year, but being banged up in New York too, then continued trade rumors about Breece Hall, which I just don't understand. I don't like the mojo right now, even with an exciting game last week, the blocked field goal, all that good stuff, still coming out losers at the end of it all. I'm going to go Miami this week at home, see if Miami can get something right going this week. All right, Dad, last game that we're picking is the undefeated Indianapolis Colts. They're traveling to Los Angeles to face the Rams this week. Dad, are you taking the Colts or the Rams this week?
I'm going to take the Colts. I think maybe they are for real here. I've been very positive about the Rams more, than you have there. And I think the Rams are going to be the team still to win their division. But the Colts seem to be playing. And they've got things, going there. They've got the quarterback that's playing right now. So, it won't be a shock if they come back down to earth. But I don't see any reason to pick against them. I'm going to go with the Colts.
So I don't think losing this game for the Colts is a big deal. But I do think they will lose. And I don't know that it's even coming back to earth, honestly. I think it could be a very good game, a close game. But at the end of the day, what the Rams have looked like so far, especially on offense, has been really impressive. Devontae Adams has fit in perfectly there in LA also. I'm going to go the Rams at home. If this was flip-flopped, if it was on the road, I might go Indianapolis. But ultimately, I'm going to go with the home team here and the Rams. So in our picks, we agree Seattle over Arizona, Green Bay over Dallas, and Denver over Cincinnati. But we're split. You got the Vikings. I take the Steelers. You have the Jets. I take the Dolphins. And you have the Colts. I take the Rams. Dad, you have taken 5 road teams this week in your picks. And I have taken 4 home teams this week in my picks as well. All right.
I'm a road warrior. So
that's right. Road warrior. All right. Let's run through the other games real quick. Chargers and Giants. Jackson Dart gets the start in New York this week. I thought they would wait one more week with this move. They chose to go now. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't know that it's the best opportunity for Jackson Dart to get things rolling. So, Dad, your thoughts on Chargers versus Giants?
Well, I think the Chargers have got things going in the right direction. It is interesting with the new quarterback coming in. Sometimes that really energizes a team. But I think the Chargers are for real. So I think they'll win this one.
I'm with you. Tennessee and Houston, 2 winless teams going in. Dad, I'm almost ready to cut the cord on CJ Stroud. Like, I just cannot believe how unimpressive it has looked to this point. I'm still taking the Texans over the Titans, but I mean, are the Texans ever going to wake up?
I don't know if they're going to wake up or not. They've been super disappointing. It's been really tough. If they lose to the Titans, I don't know what's going to happen. So, and I know we may talk about quarterback changes here in a little bit, and something's got to happen down there in Houston. in the next couple of weeks, even if they win this one. So we'll see. You saw where the Titans, the coach is going to let somebody else call the offense from now on. So we'll see how that goes. It may just be the coach saying, hey, good luck with that. But anyhow, we will see.
No, I want to talk about that because head coach, formerly the offensive coordinator in Cincinnati, he says, I'm going to pass off the play calling, and he gives it to the quarterback coach, not to the offensive coordinator. Bypasses the offensive coordinator straight to the quarterback coach, says because the quarterback coach has experience in this. And I'm sitting here going, wait a second. Why hire the offensive coordinator if you don't trust them to be able to fill the slack with play calling? Like, there are coaches that call plays, but their offensive coordinators are the next guy up if the coach can't call plays. Why even have the offensive coordinator on the team if you're not going to give them that responsibility when you realize you shouldn't be doing it? There's a lot of question marks here. I don't know how he survives the year in Tennessee as the head coach. If I was the offensive coordinator, I'd quit right now. I would just walk out. Like, forget this. I'm done. I'm done with this nonsense. We're getting fired anyhow. So let's just, I'm done. Not how it went down, but nonetheless, craziness in Nashville. Really surprised by that move.
The reason that happens is this is the Tennessee Titans. We know that. So I'm sure I would love to hear George Plaster and the local guys talking about this. So
yeah. All right. Atlanta is hosting Washington. Atlanta looked horrendous last week. We're still not completely sure if it's going to be Mariota again, which we kind of suspect, or if Daniels will play. Either way, I've got Washington over Atlanta. Not looking good. Atlanta fired an assistant coach this week. Man, just not a wide receiver coach. It just doesn't look good in Atlanta either, Dad. I'm going Washington in this one. How about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Washington on this. I've got a friend I see in a work-related area, and he's a Falcons fan, actually went down to Atlanta for the opening game. And when I talked to him Monday, he couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
So he was just shaking his head and his hands, and that was it. So, this could be tough. We could have a lot of coaching changes here pretty early this year. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Bills are hosting the Saints. Bills are going to win this game. I don't think we need to comment too much on that, Dad. Right. Bills over Saints easily.
Yeah. No, the Bills should handle that easy.
All right. Eagles and Tampa. Buccaneers, a little banged up. Mike Evans is out for a couple weeks, it looks like now. And so that concerns me for Tampa. I originally was going to put this on our picks, chose not to. I think Philadelphia probably gets the win because Tampa's so beat up. If they were both healthy, I would take Tampa. I've not been impressed with Philadelphia to this point this season, to be completely honest with you. But Tampa's so beat up. I'm going to go Philly in this one. How do you feel about Eagles-Bucks?
Yeah, I've really been positive on the Bucks so far, but yeah, you're like you said, they are beat up a little bit, and the Eagles until they lose,
Sure,
I'm going to stay pretty much with them. So I that'll be interesting down in Tampa. So we'll see.
Browns and Lions. Listen, the Browns defense is good. What they did last week was impressive, but the Lions are a really good football team too. I don't see the Browns having any chance of beating Detroit this week. I'm going Detroit at home. I picked them last week to win against Baltimore. They did that. They're going to beat Cleveland too. That's my thoughts. What are yours?
Yeah, this will be interesting to see how this goes. Detroit has really bounced back after the first game with the Packers. So, we know firsthand Cleveland's got a really good defense. They're on the road, so we'll see if this was at the dog pound. There might be some momentum building here. But again, I don't know if Joe Flacco is going to go in there and dominate. So that's kind of the thing. It'd be interesting to see if it's a close game or not.
Yeah, I agree. Carolina coming off a big win. They travel to New England against the Patriots. Patriots 5.5-point favorites here. Is this the start of something for Carolina, or did they just fortunate enough to play Atlanta last week?
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see if Carolina can build on this. But the Patriots at home, we've been thinking the Patriots could have a decent season. So they should win this, but maybe Carolina's got something going here. I mean, 30-0. I mean, they didn't sneak by. So, well, this will be kind of interesting to keep an ear to it.
Yeah, coaching has not been at its peak in New England this year. The offensive, especially the offensive side of the ball. Travion Henderson not getting more opportunity blows my mind right now for New England. They are home. I am going to pick them to win, but they have some changes to make on offense this season. All right, Jaguars at 49ers. I believe there's a good potential to see Brock Purdy back this week. If not, Mac Jones has been playing very well there. He's a little beat up himself, but Jacksonville 2-1, but they really haven't looked impressive yet this year either. So I'll go with San Francisco at home. How about you?
Yeah, I don't think San Francisco, I don't think they're as good as their record is, but they have been winning. This would be a big game for Jacksonville. Again, especially in with the division, with the Colts doing well and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of it necessarily. Again, there's been, I think, some more injuries at San Francisco. And if I had to pick this one, I'd probably pick Jacksonville, but wouldn't be super confident of it. So we'll see.
All right. Ravens and Chiefs, 1-2. Both of them are. Neither of them have looked super impressive. Baltimore has had moments of great offense. Defense hasn't been that great. Derrick Henry with a couple major fumbles this season as well. Kansas City's starting to get a little healthier. I'm intrigued to this one. It's at Kansas City. Baltimore is the favorite. What do you like in this one, Ravens or Chiefs?
Yeah, being the Chiefs are at home, I think they're going to rebound a little bit. I've been really big on Baltimore, but they've definitely struggled on defense, like you said. So I will pick the Chiefs to rebound here a little bit at home.
All right. I have more confidence in the Ravens figuring it out. Personally, I'll go with them. All right, last one is the Bears and the Raiders. The Bears showed up last week. By the way, Caleb Williams, fantasy value through the roof right now. Great waiver wire ad if you're looking for a quarterback. But Bears and Raiders, this is a game, other than seeing the end score, I really don't care about whatsoever. Maybe Ashton Genty figures it out this week. Who knows? But, Dad, are you going Bears or Raiders this week?
Well, as a great American once said, just win, baby. I think the Raiders, we will see. I don't think the Bears have turned things around. You're right as far as fantasy value. Caleb Williams he's the guy. I hope all those people know to keep their eye on the waiver wire. But anyhow, we will see. And we'll just see. With the Raiders. They had a wide receiver that looked really good this week. Genty seems to be coming back into his own. So we'll see.
All right, let's talk about a couple quick things before we wrap up. First of all, we have several teams yet to win a game. Jets, Dolphins, Texans, Titans, Giants, and Saints. Who is the most disappointing 0-3 team so far this season?
Well, definitely the most disappointing is the Texans, and I think that's followed by the Jets. I'm really surprised to see both those teams there in that spot. From there, definitely the Texans, like you said, we don't know what's going on there. And, again, I wouldn't have expected the Jets to be with that group either.
Yeah, Texans to me as well. I think the Dolphins is the next one, just based off of the experience that they have on that team. Experienced coach, experienced quarterback, experienced receivers, all that good stuff. I'm with you on the Jets to a degree, although losing their quarterback doesn't help them. Dolphins still have their quarterback. So I put the Dolphins right up there as well. Five teams are still undefeated. Six teams still undefeated. Bills, Colts, Chargers, Eagles, Buccaneers, and 49ers. So they're starting off the season well. We've already seen one quarterback change due to playing, and that's the Giants. I'm curious, Dad, who's next? Do you think the Browns? I have the Browns, Saints, and Falcons as the three teams to watch right now. Penix, they got Kirk Cousins backing him up. The Saints have a rookie waiting behind Spencer Rattler, and the Browns have a rookie waiting behind Joe Flacco also. So the Giants have gone to the rookie. Do you think the Browns, Saints, or Falcons will follow suit shortly?
I think the next one to change would be the Falcons if things don't pick up. And again, if they can get the experienced quarterback in there, Penix may not show back up in Atlanta again. We will see. I like him. I thought he would do well. Maybe they've elevated him too quickly. I'm not sure, but we will see from there. The Saints, they don't really have a really good established quarterback. But so I don't know if Rattler's real long term there or not.
Yeah, I don't see, if you're the Saints, I don't see what you're waiting on, I guess, at this point. You saw Rattler last year. You've seen him the first 3 weeks so far this year. Like, what's the point of waiting much longer? Unless you just know for certain the rookie's just not ready. That's, it is what it is. Tyler Shuck is sitting back there. You took him high enough, like he's old enough. So let's put him on the field and see what happens. Cleveland, kind of same way I look at that. You drafted Gabriel later in the draft than these other guys, but what's the point of sitting them at this point? Why not get Gabriel some play? If he doesn't work out, put Sanders in there. Like, why not give these guys a chance to show what they can do? Atlanta's a whole different story. You've got your young quarterback in with the veteran sitting behind him. Kirk Cousins is there in a division that's not good. Why lose more ground? I guess is my point there. It would make sense for him to come in as well. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see coaching changes and quarterback changes that we could see over the next 2 or 3 weeks is going to be intriguing to watch after each game, of course, as well. Dad, I skipped over it, and I did not mean to, but we need to get our Survivor picks in this week as well, presented by Righteous Felon Jerky, righteousfelon.com. If you're looking through the flavors, you can find one called Soul Survivor. It's a Korean barbecue flavor. It's a top 3 flavor in my book. And so this year, our Survivor pick advice is presented by Righteous Felon Soul Survivor flavor, and that is our Survivor pick sponsor this week. So far, me and Dad have given you correct picks every single week. Week 1, I had the Cardinals. Dad had the Buccaneers. Week 2, I had the Bengals. Barely got that one scraped out. Dad got the Rams. And last week, me and Dad both agreed on Seattle. And, of course, that got you continued on in your Survivor picks as well. This week, I'm going as easy as possible. I'm going Buffalo beating the Saints. It's a lock. That's a good time to play Buffalo in your Survivor pick. Dad, are you going Buffalo or are you going somebody else for your Survivor pick?
Well, there was an obvious one, like you said, that you picked, but I'm trying to save the obvious ones for when I need them. So I looked around, and I'm going to go with the Chargers. I know there was some question about will the Giants rally, but I feel good about the Charger game. So I think Soul Survivor will be in the Big Apple.
Okay, there you go. Chargers in New York this week. That's a scary one for me, Dad. There's so much uncertainty there. But you've gone with the Buccaneers in week 1 that almost bit you. But no, you knew what you were doing. And we'll assume you do this week as well. All right, Dad. Anything else you want to discuss that we have yet to discuss?
Nope, interesting week in football, and it'll be fun to watch this week. College football is getting to be a lot of fun because, like I said, it's going to get down to where things are going to start taking shape in the conferences. Be some big games that we didn't expect to be big games early on. And, of course, the NFL, you never know what's going to happen. We've got the early games now starting overseas. So we always got to remember that in fantasy football, that's for sure. So,
all right. Well, friends, we sure appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you follow us on social media at Sports Stove. That's Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you check out Righteous Felon Jerky at righteousfelon.com. Use that promo code STOVE15. You're going to get 15% off your purchase. And I guess fire up the grill, get the brats on. Sunday Night Football, Green Bay Packers at Dallas. Going to be a great game. We're going to have a fun weekend of football. I hope that you enjoy it. Thanks for tuning into this edition of the Sports Stove Football Show. Until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.